What is God like? Is God all cozy comfort and glorious music and rosy-fingered sunsets? Or is God cold, distant, a clockmaker, a lawgiver, harsh in judgments and fearsome in retribution? Does God bless the innocent and the righteous and condemn the wicked in the heart of heart? Is God constant like the daily paths of the sun and moon across the sky and the orderly flow of the seasons? Or is God mercurial, tempestuous like an alcoholic parent that you're never sure what's going to set them off? What is God like? And how do you know? Do you know what God is like because of the centuries of tradition that have been passed down? Or because what your Sunday school teacher told you? Do you know what God is like from the texts of hymns and the snippets of Scripture that you hear in church? Or do you know because of your own lived experience? Here's another question. Does God make bets with Satan and toy with human lives? Welcome to the book of Job, my friends. We're going to be reading this for the next month. And the book of Job raises all of these questions and more, and it never really answers any of them. The outline of Job is probably one of the more familiar Bible stories. You're probably familiar with it, right? Job is super faithful, he's fabulously wealthy, and then God makes a bet with this figure known as the Satan. It's not the Satan that you're thinking of, it's the Satan, which is sort of like, I don't know, like a heavenly prosecuting attorney. God makes a bet with this Satan that even if all of Job's blessings are taken away, Job is so good that he will remain blameless and upright. And so the Satan arranges for a series of unfortunate events to befall Job, and it really is horrific. It really is. But then, in the end, it's okay because everything is restored to him, right? That's the well-known outline. Job is likely the biblical character that springs to mind whenever the topic of unjust suffering comes up, and the question of why bad things happen to good people. And that question comes up a lot these days, doesn't it? How can God allow such devastation? And the book of Job tells us it's all because God made a bet, right? No, that's not what the book of Job says. Because for one, that's a terrible, terrible explanation. That's something one of the gods on Olympus might do, but not the God of all creation. And if you only know that outline, I admit Job really doesn't make much sense. That whole opening and closing, and the bet with Satan, restoring double what was taken away, all of that can make the whole thing seem sort of like off-brand fan fiction. But that's not what Job is actually about. The book of Job really wants us to wrestle with questions like, what is God really like? And how do we know that? And how do we talk about God honestly? That's what Job is about. Now, the question of theodicy, of why bad things happen to good people, that certainly comes up, but it's never really answered, at least not clearly. But what Job and his friends argue about for most of the book is this. Job's friends all take this position. Tradition says that God rewards the righteous and punishes the wicked. And since you're being punished, you must have done something wrong, so just admit it and ask for forgiveness. It's that same pernicious blame the victim thinking that remains so tenaciously entrenched in our world. Job, on the other hand, takes the position, I've followed the tradition, I know what I've done, and I know that what is happening to me now is terrible and unjust. And if I've done something, then God needs to come and accuse me to my face. Now, note, because of the whole wager set up at the beginning, we know that Job is right. Well, God eventually does show up in a whirlwind, no less, and then blusters on and on and on about sea creatures and ostriches, and it really is a beautiful, powerful creation narrative. But as an explanation for why any of this is happening to Job, it is a total miss. And Job even says, we get it. You're all powerful, but you still haven't answered the question. In Job's final reply to God, which we will hear at the end of October, that reply is usually read as Job abjectly kowtowing to God's immense power. Quote, I know that you can do all things, and that no purpose of yours can be thwarted. Therefore I have uttered what I did not understand, things too wonderful for me, which I did not know. I had heard of you by the hearing of the ear, but now my eyes see you. Therefore I despise myself and repent in dust and ashes. Right? You're super, I'm not, I'll shut up now, sorry. But there's another way of reading this, which is actually closer to what the Hebrew really says. But you have to imagine that Job is not chastened, but instead remains defiant. Then it sounds like, yeah, you can do anything. No plan of yours can be opposed successfully. And yes, I have indeed spoken about things I did not understand. Wonders beyond my comprehension. Whatever, dude. I've listened to you, and I've seen you, and you still haven't told me why. And so, and here, instead of, I despise myself and repent in dust and ashes, the rabbis say that Job's final line is actually, therefore I am disgusted and I take pity on humanity. Now that might be a good way to sum up how many of us feel these days. Where is God in the midst of all of this? Why isn't God doing anything? And all we can do on many, many days is simply take pity on our suffering siblings. But here's the kicker. Right after Job says this, I'm disgusted and I pity humanity, God turns to Job's friends and says, I'm incensed at you because you have not spoken the truth about me, as did my servant Job. Wait, what? Job says, I'm disgusted to God's face, and God is upset with the friends, the ones who have been spouting this traditional, transactional line the whole time. Yes, God says Job is the one who is correct, and the friends are the ones who are wrong. That is not just unexpected, that is radical. Job may be disgusted that he never got to the truth, but at least he arrived at his conclusions honestly. and he never wavered in the face of the divine whirlwind. His friends, on the other hand, just uncritically parroted a bunch of hand-me-down platitudes. God rewards the good and punishes the bad. Friends, this is unexpected, but I believe very, very good news. And here's why. Because it means that any time we are confronted with a piece of Scripture or a hymn or something in our tradition that just doesn't sit right, that feels unjust to you or someone else, remember that Job actually gives us permission to seriously question and interrogate all of these narratives that have been passed down to us, to wrestle with them, and to trust in our own experiences of God. And above all, to strive to be completely truthful about God, and be completely truthful with God, and in describing how we do experience the God of love. And be truthful and honest in telling others what God is like for us. And for that, I think we can say, thanks be to God and to Job. Amen.